What is going on YouTube? My name is Dom and today I'm here with a Phantom breakdown video, in-depth video. Now in my mind, after playing with Phantom for some time and after doing this video looking over all the stats, I've made up my mind that she is either one of the best characters in the game or absolute garbage. Let me see if I can elucidate that and show you exactly what I mean. So to begin with her basic ability, she has her nano smoke, which reveals enemies. I don't really know the specifics on that because currently there are no custom games, but it's pretty obvious that when somebody goes in this smoke, they're revealed while they are in it. Once they leave, there doesn't seem to be any layover effect or anything like that. Now, when she damages somebody, she also delays their health regen. But again, we don't know specifics because there are no custom games. I cannot really tell how much someone's health is delayed unless I get shot by a Phantom myself. Now, like I said at the very beginning, she could be one of the worst characters, but I could also chalk that up to latency. I've had a lot of issues where I am hovered over somebody's head, my bullet is firing, but then I get no headshot. I don't even get a hit marker when it's very clearly on target. This is probably a server issue because, again, this is a closed beta. But anyway, this video isn't about latency. Let me get right into the stats. So, of course, she has two primary weapons. She has her LR-15, which is a sniper rifle, and she has the Aaron L212. Now, of course, I don't really see a reason to use her DMR, which is the Aaron, because she's a sniper character. Currently, she's the only character in the game with a bolt-action sniper rifle with a one-hit sniper rifle, so I just don't see any reason to use her DMR at all. So I feel compelled to make a correction here because after playing some more once this video was done recording, a friend of mine actually really liked the DMR and played well with it, so feel free to use it if that's your playstyle, if it works for you. Now with the LR-15, she gives off a standard 80 body damage. In the toe or in the chest seems to make no difference, at least that's what it looks like. As best as I can try to hit arms and legs, it doesn't seem like there's any damage drop off for shooting somebody in the limb. Now there is a 1.8 multiplier for headshots, resulting in 140 damage, which will instantly down even an armored enemy instantly. As if that doesn't sound repetitive enough, because armored enemies only give off 25 additional health, she will down them because she deals 140, and that's the same for Vi. When Vi gets her ability to increase her max health up 25 points, she's still going to get one hit by the Phantom. Now the fire rate for the LR-15 is roughly one shot every 1.18 seconds. The stat says 0.87, and I'm assuming that means shots per second, which translates to 1.15 seconds for every shot, which is close enough to my testing to be accurate. Now the reload comes out to be exactly 1 second per bullet. She loads every bullet individually, so that 0.5 reload stat means very slow. I'm not really sure how that translates into the game. 0.5 because the reload is one bullet every second. Now range is pretty much negligible for me. Her range stat is at 70 by default with this weapon. I think that translates to meters. Of course, without custom games, it's very difficult to tell, but I have not noticed any significant damage drop off even outside of that 70-meter distance, and that's because even if it drops off a little bit, it's still going to be a 2-hit body shot and a 1-hit headshot. You have to get very far, I'm guessing, to not get a 1-hit headshot, but again, I don't think there's any ranges in these current maps that are going to allow for that. Now the handling stat seems to reflect a variety of things, so it's not very reliable. These things will range from ADS speed to recoil reduction to hipfire accuracy and reticle bloom, so I don't find the handling stat to be very useful for much of anything. Now the ADS speed for the base sniper with no upgrades is about 300 milliseconds. The tier 2 upgrade reduces the ADS speed to a lightning quick 217 milliseconds. The time to kill for the base sniper ranges from instantly to 1.18 seconds. It's not very useful stat. And the DPS ranges from 68 DPS with body shots to 119 DPS with headshots. But again, this stat doesn't really matter with the sniper rifle. Every 1.18 seconds, it's either going to be instant or it's going to take 2 hits to kill. That's a much more useful stat. Nerds and geeks like me like to know these things for God knows what reason. Now the DMR has absolutely no room for error. Playing with this thing, you will quickly realize you have to hit every single shot to get a kill. Now it nearly requires the second and third upgrades to even be considered usable or even viable. Get good with the sniper instead. I don't see a reason to use the DMR, but here's a bunch of useless stats for the DMR anyway. Now it does a measly 28 damage within its max damage range, bumping up to 42 damage with headshots. The fire rate is difficult to calculate, however the game shows a fire rate of 5.26 shots per second. My testing produced a variety of results using the same method. Sometimes I could pull in a result of 7 or 8 shots per second and sometimes as low as 4. My guess is that the rate of fire works on a gradient, sometimes firing faster, but on average would be around that 5.26 shots per second. Also, there is no perfect method for calculating the rate of fire on a semi-auto, because even if your trigger is slightly off, you're going to get a drastically different result. Now the reload speed is accurate. It's at 1.6 seconds and 1.4 seconds with the tier 1 upgrade. The ADS speed is 132 milliseconds, which is crazy fast. Now the range is shown to be 35.01, which is a very weird number. I don't know why the 01 has to be tacked on there. And I'm assuming again that means meters. Now the damage drop off for this weapon is very easy to see in a lot of matches. You're going to be past that 35 meter range a lot. Without customs, there's no reliable way to see the ranges past 35 meters, what they drop down to. I had some shots that were doing 20 damage, some that were doing 22. It all depends how far you are outside of that maximum damage range, but without customs, I can't really tell. But basically, this 35 meter range is where you're going to see your gun turn into a little pea shooter without the tier 3 upgrade. Now again, the tier 3 upgrade nullifies your damage drop off, so that's going to mitigate that, but without it, your gun is basically ass. Now the time to kill comes out to be about 760 milliseconds with body shots in the max damage range and 570 milliseconds with headshots. But a more reliable stat with this gun is shots to kill. That's the way I like to think about it. It's a 4-hit body shot and a 3-hit headshot within max range, dropping off to 5 shots or more at distance without the tier 3 upgrade. I don't think it's worth it to dump $15,000 into this upgrade to get the tier 3 upgrade. It seems like a lot of wasted money in my opinion, when the base LR15 outperforms in pretty much every meaningful stat as long as you can hit your shots. Now let's talk about her perks. Now she has Evade, which makes you move faster after being damaged. You can't really test that because I don't have customs, but I don't really notice too much myself. I'm just going to trust what the game says. Now Cloaked means you can't be revealed by enemies, which is a very important perk. Nimble Hand states that it reduces your weapon swap speed. I calculated the base weapon swap to be at 432 milliseconds, and I actually couldn't detect the difference with the perk. However, this is also very difficult to detect because when do you tell that the weapon is fully swapped? Is it when the animation is done completing? Is it when you can fire off your first shot? I know I usually wait for my weapon to swap before I start shooting, so this is a difficult one to detect. I don't really notice much of a difference. It doesn't really affect my play too much. But also with Nimble Hands, it states that it increases your reload speed. I do notice this a little bit. This is all anecdotal. I wasn't able to test for a difference, and that probably means it's coming down to milliseconds that aren't really going to affect your gameplay too much, but it is worth having because it does boost it a little bit. Now with Life Drain, it's hard to detect without customs exactly how Life Drain works. When you down an enemy, you get some health back, but it's hard to detect how much exactly. It does obviously work. I just can't figure out specifics, and it's worth a lot. I'm not really sure that perk is worth it in my mind. Now Tracer rounds, once you hit somebody, they will stay highlighted through walls on your screen for everybody to see. It lasts about 2 seconds from what I could tell. Now with the gadget, she comes with a grenade, which is pretty standard. There's nothing special about it. And then she comes with a sticky sensor. Again, I cannot tell how these things work, what the radius is, and how the sticky sensor works exactly without customs. I do apologize for that. Just without customs, I can't get into too much of a specifics with it because I just don't know. Now here's my personal tips for using Phantom. Play back and don't rush. Hold tight angles and narrow passages that limit the possibility of missing shots. You don't want to miss shots with this, and it can be difficult because if you do miss a shot, you could die very quickly. Keep in mind, you can't fire off another shot for another 1.18 seconds, and a lot of these characters, even Phantom's own DMR have a faster fire rate than that, so they could kill you while you're rechambering. Try to hit as many headshots as possible. Now this one is way easier said than done. It's very difficult to hit headshots, but they make it a lot easier because there's no idle sway with this sniper. So my recommendations are to be patient and line up your shots, even if you're getting shot. There is a little bit of flinch in this game, which can mess you up, but it doesn't seem to be too obstructive. Now also, I come from Call of Duty when it comes to like quick scoping, and I think of this as kind of quick scoping. In Call of Duty, you basically just shoot and fire at whatever the fuck moves. But with this, I implore you not to, okay? People roll all the time in this game. You're not gonna hit a headshot when people are rolling. If you aim down sight at someone and they are currently in a roll, wait for them to stand up. Wait for them to get up and then line up your headshot. You can even prep for it, but don't shoot at them while they are rolling. You're gonna miss your shot way more often than if you just wait. Because remember also that when people are rolling, they can't shoot back at you. Even if the latency is pretty bad sometimes and it looks that way, they can't. Also, switch to your secondary often. Get used to swapping weapons. A typical body shot up close will put your opponent into will give your opponent 20 HP, which is so minimal. You pull out your pistol does a base damage of 25 damage. So you'll be able to just shoot them one time and they are dead. That is a very quick kill, because if you think that the ADS or the weapon swap speed is 432 milliseconds, you could fire off a shot, swap to your other weapon, and kill them, which will give you an effective time to kill of just under half a second, which is very quick. Also, think of Phantom as a team helper by draining HP. Don't go for massive kill feeds and you will do a lot better. Think of trying to wound the enemy so that your teammates can pick up the kills, because if you put 3 people out of 4 down to 20 HP very quickly, your team is going to have a hell of an easy time pushing through them. Even with 2 people, if 3 of the enemy opponents are at 20 health and you only have 2 people pushing them, it would be so easy to take out, even for one person to take out 3 people that are all at 20 HP. That's not that difficult. Now also, learn to use the smoke correctly, nano smoke. It can reveal enemies, but don't let that purpose take you away from the other purposes that this can have. One usage of this smoke that I like is just as a traditional smoke grenade. Use it to cover revives. Use it to cover planting a bomb. Use it to cover defusing a bomb. Anything like that is great. Also, you can use it to shut down narrow passageways, because if anybody enters it, they're going to get revealed. So use it for a multitude of purposes. Don't just use it for revealing enemies. Use it for other things. Use it for rezzing teammates. Use it for planting bombs. Use it as a fucking distraction. I don't give a damn. Just don't only use it for revealing enemies. Now, also, I need to mention, with the LR15, collaterals are possible, but without customs, I'm not sure under what circumstances, must be present for this to happen. I'm not sure if there's a damage drop off. If you shoot somebody through the body, that bullet goes through and hits somebody else. I'm not sure if it's just headshots. I really don't know, but I'm just letting you know collaterals are possible. Now, here are some upgrade recommendations based on playstyle. For demolition, I always try to buy the first tier of the P12K. For strikeout, I always buy the LR15 and the grenade. Here's a point that I have to stress. Even though these are my recommendations, and with all this testing, these are the best conclusions that I've come to, if you don't like the upgrade that I recommend, don't get it. You don't have to. Make changes where you see fit. Find your own unique playstyle. My first recommendation is going to be for a playstyle I like to call the Quick Scoper. This is probably going to be my favorite playstyle, because I just like running around and quick scoping people. I get the P12K tier 1 first, then I'll go for the LR15, and then I'll go ahead and pick Nimble Hands, then get the LR15 tier 1 and tier 2 perks, and then go ahead and grab Evade, and that's going to set up my Quick Scoper setup. After that, if I have more cash, buy whatever the hell you want, but those are the essentials in my opinion. Then there's the team support player. Again, get the P12K tier 1 perk, get the P12K tier 1, then get the LR15, then get tracker rounds, sticky sensor, LR15 tier 1, and then finally finish off with Evade. The Stealth Sniper. Now, the Stealth Sniper gameplay is something that I like to adopt every once in a while, where you sneak to an angle that no one else can really see you from. You try to get behind the enemy, and then you start picking them off. For this one, again, I'm going to go with the P12K tier 1. I think that I mean, obviously that's the first thing I get for all these different play styles because it's the one that I see is the most bang for your buck right off the bat. So you get the P12K tier 1, followed up by the LR15, then get cloaked, tracker rounds, LR15 tier 1, finish off with LR15 tier 2. But again, these are just my recommendations. If you have something else, please let me know what it is in the comments. Have conversations in the comments. Leave your tips, what you found that works with Phantom. Leave it down in the comments and like this video if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.